two of us make our way to the usual spot. I sense the buildup of a spell as soon as we step through the trees and ready my own shield in defense. Delora's eye shoots towards my barrier and harmlessly shatters against it. Hello, Delora. Good evening, Your Highness. She raises an eyebrow at Chevalier. Hello, Casanova.
Lady Delora, such a tranquil night, isn't it?
I hope you don't plan on ruining it with all of your chattering.
Hello, Sinna. The voice is familiar, but I am still shocked to see Sinna sitting in the shadows at the edge of the clearing watching us.
Tiny Lord, what a pleasant surprise. It's been a while.
I just saw you this morning.
Sinna stands and steps toward us.
Hello, Princess Lucette.
Hello, Sinna. I eye him suspiciously. Are you here to criticize my magic? Sinna does not respond immediately. He crosses his arms and looks away, mouth pulled into a taut frown. Cat got your tongue, Cinnamon?
I was just thinking.
Sinna looks up.
I was thinking about how it might be beneficial to train together.
Delora grins. I'd appreciate being given credit for my ideas, Sinna. Aw, Witch Mom got her adopted son and daughter to work together. Good job. Sinna grumbles.
You may have mentioned it before.
Why would you want to train with me?
Well, I was thinking about how Hildir and Faye grew up friends but became distant over time. And I was thinking that perhaps if Faye had not left Hildir alone in the dark for so long, the war wouldn't have happened. Perhaps if they had remained close, things would have ended better.
That's a very sweet thought.
I do believe he's asking to be your friend, Princess.
Aww. I'll be your friend, Cinnamon. You cute little bun, you.
I'm here to train, not make friends.
I suppose we can train together. For practical reasons. Delora snorts. You two really are cut from the same cloth. But enough banter. Let's get this show on the road. Chevalier seats himself on a tree stump as we begin our lesson. It is strange to practice side by side with a fairy. When I was first learning, I used to practice with Waltz, but this is not like that at all. With Sinna, it feels less like a lesson and more like a balancing act. It's probably a good thing to do it with him, then. When he first came to Angielle, I was convinced we would never get along. But...
Princess, watch out!
I glance down just in time to see a root break through the ground. I burn it to cinders before it can wrap around my foot.
That's cheating, Delora.
All's fair during magic lessons. Now, maybe, I think Sinna and I are finally growing closer. He's like the little brother we never had. We continue our lesson for the next hour, only stopping when Delora calls an end. All right, that's where we end tonight, kids. I don't want to exhaust you the day before your performance.
Me exhausted? Never.
Sinna crosses his arms, but it does little to hide the rapid rise and fall of his chest.
I could have gone on for another hour.
Sure. Then let's pretend this is my breaking point. She turns toward me. Good job tonight, Lucette. You and Sinna work well together.
I agree. You're very talented, Tiny Lord.
Sinna smirks.
I am, aren't I?
He glances at me.
You're not bad either, Princess.
Not bad is high praise coming from the Lucis bearer. Delora claps her hands. All right, time to wrap things up. We'll see you tomorrow, Lucette. Chevalier. After packing up her supplies and bidding us one final goodbye, Delora heads in the opposite direction toward the tavern. Sinna does not follow. He stands in the middle of the clearing, suddenly looking indecisive.
I have a question for you.
A question?
It's about my cousin. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were both there when Faye passed away, right?
Beside me, Chevalier inhales sharply. Unthinkingly, I reach out to squeeze his hand. That's correct. Why? Sinna shuffles on his feet.
I didn't know Faye very well. Most of my correspondence with her was through letters, but the letters were rare. I think it was because she wanted to hide my identity during the war. I used to hate her for keeping me in the dark.
Sinna curls his fingers into fists.
I used to think she thought I was incompetent. When she died, I came to Angielle to prove that wasn't true. I told myself I wouldn't make the same mistake she did. I told myself I would be decisive, that I wouldn't let the Lucis lure me into a false sense of calm.
Sinna's shoulders slump.
I have no idea who I'm trying to prove myself to anymore now that Faye is gone. I can't even compete with her memory because I barely knew her.
Sinna's eyes flick up toward us.
Delora told me she died protecting you from a cruel witch, Lucette.
He looks at Chevalier, who deflates beneath his gaze.
And she said you tried to save her. Delora won't tell me about her final moments, though. I don't want to press her, but...
You want to know what Parfait was like in the end?
Yes.
Chevalier's grip on my hand is heartbreakingly tight. I don't want to answer for him. That was a very emotional moment for Chev. I wouldn't want to give too much or assume too much about that moment. I'd rather let him say what he feels he should say. He's also really good at just talking to kids in general. He's got that air. I'm gonna let him do this. He's got this. I'm right here beside you. I'll support you, but you go for it, man. I know how hard this must be for Chevalier. He knew Parfait better than I did. She was one of his patients, after all. That is why he can tell Cinna more about her than I ever could. I squeeze his hand again. It is a silent consolation, my way of showing him that I am here.
She kept telling us not to fuss in the end.
His words are soft, just an octave above a whisper.
The witch who killed her was obsessed with Hildir. He wanted to bring her back. Anyone who stood in his way he viewed as an obstacle to be destroyed. Parfait knew he was hurting inside. When he killed her, she apologized to him. She said she was sorry Hildir never appreciated him. I killed the witch who stabbed her, but it didn't matter. The wound he inflicted on her was fatal. But even as she lay dying, she told us everything was as it should be. Lady Parfait put her life on the line without hesitation. She told me all the time that she was trying to make up for her mistakes. That's why, in the end, I don't believe she had any regrets. It was the greatest honor to be able to help her.
For a few minutes, the forest is silent, the only sound the gentle rustling of the leaves and the sway of the grass beneath our feet. When Chevalier shivers, I wrap an arm around his shoulders. He promptly leans into me. Aw, there's my boo. Eventually, Cinna speaks into the quiet.
Thank you. For trying to save my cousin. And for being there with her until the end. I can't imagine the courage it took for her to hold on to her ideals and morals, even in the end.
Lady Parfait was one of the strongest, kindest people I knew. I will be forever grateful I could be one of her friends.
Me too. Parfait believed in me from the beginning. I will always be grateful for her patience and kindness. Neither she nor Delora gave up on me. Instead of leaving me to stew in my own anger, they rescued me. It was a drastic solution, perhaps even somewhat heartless, but it forced me to see things as I never had before. Sinna angles his head slightly, his eyes trained on the stars above us. And then he smiles.
It appears as if I've got my work cut out for me if I want to measure up to her.
Chevalier straightens.
Sinna, you're every bit as inspirational as Lady Parfait. I have no doubt she would be proud of you.
You know, Chevalier, you're not so bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this the first time you didn't call him old man? Oh, my heart.
Did you just call me by my name?
Sinna turns away with a grumble.
There's no need to get so excited about it, old man.
Even though he's turned away from us, I can see a smile on his face.
I'll see you both tomorrow. Thanks for tonight.
His goodbye is brisk. He disappears through the trees before we can respond.
How strange that speaking about Lady Parfait tonight was almost therapeutic.
Talking about her brings her back, even if just for a little bit. When we talk about her this way, we can fashion her into a hero, as someone who made us and the world a better place. It is the least she deserves for her sacrifice.
Sage words, Princess.
Chevalier lifts my hand to his lips and kisses my knuckles.
Thank you for your support.
Always, Chev. After savoring the quiet of the forest a little longer, we make our way back to the palace. Oh, man, this route has had so many touching scenes. That was beautiful. I loved that so much. The next day, we wake bright and early for the first day of the festival. The palace halls are emptier than usual, many of the staff taking time off to enjoy the festivities. A miniature stage has been erected outside the palace gates. For the last 30 minutes, we have all given brief speeches about the prosperity of Angielle and our hopes for the future. Rod and I have already given our speeches and are waiting at the back of the stage for Emmeline, who is in the middle of addressing the crowds. Hey, long time no see, buddy.
As always, she overthought how difficult this would be.
Emmeline is the most charismatic of all of us. Why would she ever think she was bad at this? Rod shrugs.
She gets nervous about disappointing people.
We pause as the audience claps and Emmeline curtsies.
Sometimes I think about the toll training to be a queen would have had on her.
He looks at me, thoughtful.
You're good under pressure. Emmeline never has been.
Thank you?
Why do you sound so confused? It was a compliment.
Just not expecting it from you when we're not on your route anymore. Don't make plays after the fact, Rod. Good grief. The stage creaks as Emmeline approaches. She sighs softly.
Oh, thank gods that's over. Did I sound okay?
Of course you did. You got the best reception of any of us. Someone even threw flowers at you.
Lance in the crowd like, "Go, Emmeline! That's my girl up there!" Emmeline shakes her head. It was totally him! Stop, my heart.
Oh no, that was...
Prince Lance. I did not miss him standing by the front of the stage, beaming at Emmeline the entire time. He was clearly enamored with her. Oh, amazing. Oops.
I heard from Mother that he came by to surprise me with a bouquet this morning, but I was already gone.
So he threw it at you on stage. Oh,
At least it wasn't his underwear. I mean, it could have been worse. If Chevalier was here, he would make a comment about how romantic this is. It is a good thing he is not here. Were you less nervous having him in the audience?
You know, now that I think about it, yes.
Aw.
Lance said he gets nervous on stages too. He was giving me advice last night.
was he?
Yes.
Well, that was kind of him.
Aw, good job, Rod. Cheers from the audience break apart our conversation. The king calls all of us to the front of the stage, and together with Ophelia, we announce the beginning of the festival. Before, I shunned the idea of participating in these speeches and events. Now, looking at all of these smiling faces, I cannot help but be glad I am here. My eyes snag on a familiar face in the audience. Chevalier stands at the front waving at me. His most excited pupil, the young boy he saved all those years ago, stands beside him also waving. Hi guys! That's my family there! Chevalier told me yesterday that recently the boy has been allowed to visit the palace to watch him work. He also clings to Chevalier when we are wandering the town. Adorable. Chevalier always talks about bringing me out here to spend time alone together, but he is so well liked by others that it is often difficult to find that time. I cannot possibly be disgruntled about the situation, though. I could never be irritated that people are warming up to Chevalier. As soon as I am able to, I descend the stage steps and head for Chevalier and his pupil. Hey, guys.
You were spectacular as always, my lovely princess.
As always. The boy parrots the word and laughs. Nice. Then he looks at Chevalier.
I told my ma I would meet her out to the speeches. See you later, Doctor, Princess.
Behave, you. Be good. I wish I knew what your name was, small child. The boy runs through the crowd, leaving Chevalier and I to speak to the amassing crowds. I greet townsfolk with handshakes and greetings, while Chevalier speaks more conversationally. The minute we have a moment to breathe, I grab Chevalier urgently by the sleeve. I just remembered the magic show. Why did we plan for it to happen so soon after the speeches? I pull Chevalier along before he can protest, but of course he doesn't. He just smiles and laughs, and when I pick up my pace, he loops his arm through mine and begins skipping down the street. Oh gosh, with that pose!
Come one, come all to Her Highness's magic show!
His cheer is contagious. Soon I find myself skipping alongside him, trying not to laugh as we nearly trip over each other's feet. This might be the most carefree I've ever seen her. I love it. Ah, it's so good. Heart is so full. The magic show is a huge success. Waltz is ever the charismatic performer. He weaves stories as we perform, talking about a time where witches, fairies, and humans got along. Sinna and I take turns performing magic tricks.
Though witches and fairies drew their magic from different sources, it was equally vibrant and beautiful. They could make flowers bloom.
I concentrate on the stage, and flowers begin to push through the planks.
And change the weather.
Sinna snaps his fingers, and a cool breeze whistles past, bringing with it droplets of water that scatter like rain.
And start a warm fire for cold nights.
I forgot yours was purple. Walt spreads his hands and a bright fire rises before him. The audience gasps as the flames rise without eating away at the wood. The spectators applaud, again and again and again, until the show is over and we all bow. At the end of it, I am breathless and exhausted, and also relieved. No one shrunk away from my magic. No one was scared of me. No, there was nothing but wonder in the audience's eyes. Afterwards, Waltz turns to me and Sinna with a bright smile.
You both work so well together. You were great.
Sinna grins.
I knew training together would be a good idea.
I resist the urge to roll my eyes, but I'm smiling. Likewise, Waltz. We should do this more often. Waltz blinks at me.
More often. I would love to have you both up here with me in the future.
He raises an eyebrow.
Any chance you'll want to continue on to the next performance? My students are performing, but I'd appreciate the backup.
No.
Sinna shakes his head.
They're selling special baked goods today. I want to buy one of everything before they run out.
I mean, that's fair.
Oh, weren't there cinnamon rolls with a special frosting?
Sinna scowls.
Maybe. It's not as if I'd know about that.
With a huff and a backward wave, Sinna rushes off the stage and into the crowd. Good luck getting those cinnamon buns. After wishing Waltz luck on his next show, I too leave the stage. I look for Chevalier in the scattered crowds and find him standing by the fountain, talking animatedly with a group of musicians.
Yes, that's the piece I'm thinking of. The one with the uplifting music.
As I approach, the band begins to play a song. It is a jubilant tune filled with playful chords and soaring vocals. The minute the music picks up, the surrounding crowd begins to clap and cheer, and soon there are citizens dancing in the plaza, hands pressed together as they twirl in place. This is very Tangled. The sight takes my breath away, and I pause to admire them. I have never seen this kind of dancing before. It is unlike the stiff court dancing I am accustomed to. There are no steps, only movement, and an intoxicating energy. I think you should join the dance. You know where Chev is. I feel like we're gonna have a Tangled moment if you do the dance. Then you can tell him to come and join you. I do not realize I have wandered toward the center of the circle until someone, a stranger, grabs my hands. At first I falter. I do not know the steps of this dance. But then I realize it does not matter. I let myself twirl and spin and laugh, and by the time I twirl into another dance partner, I barely remember that I am dancing. It continues like that for some time. I dance with multiple people, most strangers, and I do not think about my duties. Today, I am merely a citizen of Angielle. And then it is not just strangers I am dancing with, but familiar faces. Hello! I'm so happy I picked this option.
Well met, Princess.
Well met, Claude. Where's your brother? Claude jerks his head to the side. I follow his gaze to the outskirts of the circle where I see Emmeline twirling with Lance. Aww. They have only eyes for each other. They never so much as glance in our direction.
I don't think they understand the rules of this dance. They haven't changed partners once.
Careful, Claude. Your jealousy is showing.
You're as delightfully blunt as always, Princess.
That is my special charm, after all. We separate on the next twirl, and I find myself dancing with others. Jurian and Garland, Rod, even Sinna at some point, though he only enters the dance long enough to tell me about the seasonal baked goods. He says with a cinnamon bun hanging out of his mouth. I become lost in the crowd and am tossed from one person to the next until finally, there's my boy.
Hello, my lovely princess. May I have this dance?
Chevalier steps forward, grasping my hand and pulling me to his chest. He smiles at me rakishly. You may. The two of us twirl around each other, fingers laced. I'm assuming you meant for this to happen. The dancing?
I saw a band setting up and couldn't resist recommending a song. They play this every year, you know, and I thought that after such an exciting magic show, the audience might want to let out some pent-up energy.
I've never seen a dance like this before.
It's not special. Really, it's the person you're dancing with that makes it special. Though I see you've had a number of dance partners already.
Are you jealous?
Hardly. I want everyone here to appreciate your charm.
The music picks up and everyone's footwork abruptly changes. Before I can adjust, I misstep and trip on Chevalier's foot, but before I can fall... Oh! Thank you. Such quick reflexes. I am swept off my feet and there are suddenly sturdy hands beneath my legs. This is very, very familiar. Oh yeah, he picked you up when you were sick! So much nostalgia in this route, my goodness. Could you not have just grabbed my hand? All this pomp is unnecessary. I can feel everyone's eyes on us. Chevalier just laughs.
I suppose I could have, but I think I prefer this. I'm no knight in shining armor, but when I hold you like this, I feel like your hero.
Chev, you don't have to be any of those things. I love you just the way you are. Chevalier's expression morphs, the shock so clear on his face it makes me laugh. What's wrong?
You said you love me.
You act as if I haven't said it before.
Every time you say it, I'm shocked anew. I will never, ever stop being in awe that you find me worthy of you, Princess. Truly, I'm the luckiest man in the world to have you.
Yes, you are. I cup his face in my hands, long enough to give him a quick kiss on the lips. Chevalier puts me down and I grasp his hand, heedless of the couples around us. In that moment, it is just the two of us, and I can forget the stares of the crowd. And I'm the luckiest princess, having you. I hold out my hand. Now, shall I go find a less showy dance partner, or will you dance with me once more? Chevalier beams.
I shall be your partner forever and always, Princess.
I'll hold you to your word. Once again, I lace my fingers through his. This time I do not let go of his hand. And though we are surrounded by people, it feels like we are the only two people in the world. Two stars revolving around each other. Hey, that's just like the end of Claude's route. And I would not have it any other way.